Hello and welcome back to your therapy guide. I'm Dr. Yadegarfard, and today we are talking about something many people experience but don't always expect. What happens when therapy feels tough? Not just emotionally intense, not just uncomfortable, but draining, discouraging, or stuck. You might find yourself thinking, is this working? Why do I feel worse? I thought I'd be further by now. Maybe therapy just isn't for me. If that sounds familiar, this episode is for you. Because therapy feeling hard does not automatically mean it is not working, but it does deserve thoughtful reflection. Let's begin with something important. Therapy often feels most difficult not at the beginning, but in the middle. At the beginning, there is often relief, hope, clarity, a structure. Then something shifts. You become more aware, patterns become clearer, memories surface. You see how certain experiences shaped you, and suddenly things feel heavier. This is not unusual. When avoidance reduces, awareness increases. And when awareness increases, emotional intensity often rises. Research in exposure based therapies and trauma informed approaches constantly shows that when people begin facing avoided material, emotional activation may temporarily increase before integration happens. So, if therapy feels more intense after you start looking at painful themes, that does not necessarily mean regression. It means defenses are softening, and that is destabilizing. Behavioral change research often describes what's sometimes called a dip, a phase where progress feels slower or harder before it consolidates. You may start therapy feeling hopeful, then doubt appears, motivation fluctuates, effort feels heavier, results feel slower. This is not proof that therapy isn't working. It may simply mean you've moved from understanding to implementation, and implementation is harder. There is another layer that people don't always talk about. Therapy doesn't just change behavior, it changes family narratives, cultural messages, long held beliefs about yourself, attachment patterns. When those shift, identity can feel unstable. You may start questioning who you are, how you relate, what you tolerated, what you now want. That disorientation can reduce motivation because change at this level is not just behavioral, it's structural. Therapy requires effort, emotional effort, behavioral effort, cognitive effort. You might be setting boundaries, having difficult conversation, trying new responses, sitting with discomfort instead of avoiding it. Effort competes with work, parenting, stress, sleep, financial pressure. Motivation is not constant. It fluctuates with capacity. This is biology, not weakness. Now let's shift to evaluation because not all tough phases are the same. Sometimes therapy feels hard because you are growing. Other times it feels hard because something needs adjusting. We need a way to think about the difference. Ask yourself, is this discomfort meaningful but manageable? Or am I emotionally flooded and shutting down? Productive discomfort often feels uncomfortable, challenging, stretching, but is still contained. Overwhelm feels chaotic, numbing, unsafe. If therapy feels constantly overwhelming without a space to process it, that deserves conversation, not silence, ignorance. Another distinction is between plateau and stuckness. Plateau feels repetitive, slow, boring, but under the surface, consolidation may be happening. Sometimes nothing dramatic is changing because stability is forming. Stuckness, however, may feel like the same conversation repeating without reflection, avoidance increasing, disengagement growing, emotional distance from the work. Those two requires different responses. Plateau may require patience. Stuckness may require adjustment. Low motivation sometimes reflects resistance, and resistance is not failure. It may signal fear of change, fear of loss, fear of success, fear of destabilizing relationships. But sometimes low motivation reflects misalignment. Perhaps the pace is too fast, goals are unclear, the therapeutic relationship needs attention. Motivation is not only internal, it is relational. Bringing this into the room can be part of the therapeutic work. When therapy feels tough, many people add a second layer. I should be doing better. Other people improve faster. Why am I still struggling? Shame drains motivation. Self-criticism narrows attention and reduces capacity. This links directly to our previous episode on self-compassion. Compassion does not reduce effort. It protects motivation from collapsing under pressure. Therapy supports motivation in several ways. First, it is relational. Having someone witness your effort matters. Accountability matters. Shared reflection matters. You are not carrying change alone. Second, therapy allows pacing adjustments. Good therapy slows when needed. Stabilize before pushing, revisit goals, recalibrate expectations. Motivation is not sustained by pressure, it is sustained by containment. One of the biggest motivation drains is unrealistic expectations. Progress does not always look dramatic. It may look like noticing sooner, reacting slightly less often, recovering faster, tolerating discomfort a little longer, setting one boundary instead of none. Micro shifts matters. They accumulate. If therapy feels tough, instead of asking, should I quit? A more useful question might be, what kind of tough is this? Is it growth discomfort? Is it emotional activation? Is it effort fatigue? Is it misalignment? Different answers lead to different conversations. The key word is conversation, not avoidance, not endurance. conversation. Therapy not a straight line. Motivation will fluctuate. There will be weeks that feel clear and weeks that feel confusing. Feeling discouraged does not mean you are failing. Feeling tired does not mean you are incapable. And feeling uncertain does not mean therapy is pointless. Sometimes it simply means you are in the middle. And the middle is often the hardest part. Before we finish, I want to leave you with this. Therapy feeling tough does not automatically mean it isn't working, but it does deserve thoughtful reflection. If you are in a difficult phase right now, you are not alone. Growth can feel destabilizing before it feels integrated. And motivation is not a personality trait. It is something that rises and falls with capacity, safety, and support. Thank you for joining me today on your therapy guide. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe and share it with someone who might benefit. Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and take care of yourself.